Did it work?
Right, Restream is getting something.
Woo! I had to re-log into all the Restream today. I was like, oh.
YouTube has got stuff coming through. Twitch has got stuff coming through. We're doing audio. Right, Skazz, I've got your starting soon screen.
I know. It's there. We're here. Woo! It's us.
I know. No, see, what you should have on there is our little intro sequence.
Fair point. I haven't got it.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, I'll send it to you later.
Good man.
Yeah. Now, if we're really clever, you can have our intro sequence and our outro sequence on there.
We have an outro sequence. I know we have the music from.
You've seen it. I've seen it. I've made that whole video of the game.
I don't remember being sent anything. I've seen it. I didn't know.
It was sent to our group chat, me, you, and Zaber.
Was that downloadable or was it just a YouTube
video? Link to a YouTube video?
Oh, that means I have to install YouTube DL. What you doing?
Oh,
gotta do this in high quality. Also, I have to find the music track that Zaber made. I'm pretty sure it's on my laptop. It's not on my PC, so only a few episodes have actually had the outro track in them. Yeah, I feel very bad.
As you should be.
Oh, I do.
As you should.
I feel terrible.
I will send you all that across afterwards because I've got them all. I've got my Rand Nerd resources folder that has all, because I'm organised. And has all all together.
I have a blue hard drive. That's the Rand Nerds hard drive. And it had, at one point, all of the files on it. Everything.
No.
Every single WAV file in that for Rand Nerds.
I'm hoping if it's a blue hard drive, you've got the custom Rand Nerds blue on it.
Oh, it is very much the Rand Nerds blue.
Good.
That's why I bought a blue hard drive, just so I could go, there's the Rand Nerds one, ignore that.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how that's... we made for whatever reason, we made a decision that we're going to be blue many years ago, and that's just become our identity. It's a bit weird.
We are the colour blue.
And a very light, happy shade of blue.
Yes, although I'm shade blind, so to me it's a bit green, but blue.
Well, I think it's blue, but it might be green because I'm colourblind. So who knows?
We're stuffed. We're absolutely fucked, mate.
Who knows? It might be more turquoise. Who knows? To me, it's blue.
Look, there are only a few colours on this planet. We don't turquoise. It's not a thing.
There's only 4 colours: CMYK, and look, if it were for printers, what more do you need?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Good day, everybody. I'm TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz, yes.
Welcome to episode 157 of the Rand Nerds podcast.
Oh my god, we've been doing this forever.
I know. We are in season 9 of the Rand Nerds podcast.
Season 9. When do we get cancelled?
I don't know, but it's one season per year.
I was going to say, are we now competing with the Simpsons for the for the longest running show? When are we going to start parodying ourselves?
Oh, see, the trouble of mate, we did that from episode 3, I think.
Oh crap!
Trouble of the Simpsons is that they keep making them, so we can never catch them up. So what we need to do is for Simpsons to get cancelled, and then we need to go for at least. Well, they're like 15 years ahead of us, so we need to go cancel. We need to go for another 15 years or so, and then we'll catch them up.
So, the only thing that I worry though is that at some point Simpsons will be animated and written completely by AI, and we'll just lose that chance completely.
You mean it isn't already?
Oh no! I thought
Simpsons was done by a random number generator.
That could be. That actually might be true. To be fair, given how downhill they went, how fast downhill could they go?
They just literally got a load of like clips, they've written for like the first 15 seasons, spilled the clips up, gave them like names and values, and then just put it through a random number generator every week, and it just splices them together to make an episode.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me
see that actually.
Now I know that as a joke. That kind of makes me want to do that, and just make a bit of stuff that just like you go onto this website and just randomly generate a Simpsons episode for you.
Probably better than anything you see on TV now. Do you reckon we're eventually going to get to that point where we just have a program? TV? The program does stuff for us so that we just, we don't have to podcast anymore.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking for the games nights getting an aimbot, and then I just saw it sit there. Oh,
look, just sitting there. Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh look, I could totally own that guy.
Hands off keyboard completely.
Yeah. Yeah. Ram, I can hear you eating a pack of crisps while you shot that man 4 times in the head. I'm just that skilled, mate. Just that skilled.
I just heard your toilet flush. What the fuck just happened, mate?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm playing on stage on the toilet. Sorry.
360 no scoped.
Yeah. Ram, how did you manage to shoot that guy and hunt Jonah from 6 kilometers away with the most inaccurate rifle? That's just luck, mate. Just luck.
Just luck. Just took out his entire team with a pistol from the other side of the map. That thing can't even reach that far.
There's buildings in the way.
Wow.
Well, you know how it is.
Sat there with your Pepsi branded hat, your MLG jacket.
Exactly. So how have you been, Skazz?
I'm still alive, mate. I mean, the world is going crazy somehow.
Oh yeah, it just gets madder and madder.
And we're not allowed to go anywhere, so how is it going worse?
Well, so I think everybody's going stir crazy. I think that's the problem. It's just madness.
So, but what happens when COVID goes away and we all have to go outside and disintegrate because we haven't seen the sun in 50 years? Do we start murdering each other because we don't know how to deal with each other anymore unless it's on Facebook?
Well, so what we need is the sequel to COVID.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
You know, bird flu. I think Ebola's been playing the long game.
You think?
Yeah, I think it's been playing the long game. It's been waiting its time, waiting for the whole world to sort of have a bit of a panic. And, you know, because you know how it is with a TV series, every new season has to get a little bit more extreme than the previous one, has to escalate every single time until it gets to the point. Now, we've had COVID, so next season needs to really up its game. And when it comes to the end of the story arc at the moment, you know, we've got the vaccine on its way. We're getting towards the end of the story arc, but they need to also merge in the new story arc. So what we need is a new variant form of Ebola to break out somewhere.
Fucking like a mutation, a cross of COVID. COVID and Ebola.
Yeah. E-COVID.
That would be fantastic. Almost like E. coli, but not.
Yeah. E-COVID. That sounds like something like you'd have like back in the early 90s internet days.
Yeah. Right. So who's your ISP, mate? E-COVID.
Yeah. No, it's how website internet is always or technology has always worked. Someone picks a letter, they just add existing words after it. So you have email, yeah, exactly. So we're just waiting for the next letter to be picked.
E-I-E-I-O.
Yeah, it could do that. Still repetition though, wasn't it?
They're gonna run out eventually. They'll run out of stuff. We're gonna have, I don't know.
Hashtag. There you go. Another single symbol. Not a letter, but close enough.
We already hashtagged the fuck out of everything.
That's what I mean. The hashtag, you had the E stuff, then the I stuff, now the hashtag.
We're going to have hash mail. I mean, mate, I'm telling you, there's something else already.
Yeah. Hash mail. It gets to you eventually.
Good times. Good times.
Eventually you have hash, yeah.
What have you been up to, Ram?
Well, so I was last week. I can't remember if I spoke to you last week. It's been a bit of a bad week at work. Last time we spoke, you know, with all sort of like raising COVID, and you know,
it's not real.
Things getting a bit tense. You know, twats not wearing their masks.
It's not
and
real.
All this sort of stuff. Yeah,
I've been told.
Well, unfortunately, people telling you that are idiots.
I was going to say because they told me that I was an idiot for wearing a mask.
Well, you can be rest assured that you're not the idiot; they're the idiot. So I decided to have a bit of retail therapy.
Right. What did you do? What did you buy? Oh my fucking god, mate.
So
explain for the audio listeners what I've just seen.
So what Skazz has just seen is £240 worth of little plastic aliens in the form of Warhammer miniatures.
The fuck, mate? So you said you're little bits at a time. Paint, stick together, done. Then buy more.
Yes, I know I said that, but anxiety. And also, it's a new army.
Anxiety. Mate, I might not be able to buy these because, I don't know, Games Workshop might go out of business.
Exactly.
Because of COVID.
Look, You buy a camera every other week, so don't you complain about me?
No, you have a fair point there. I'll give you that because I've just recently gone on a guitar binge as well. So
yeah. But these are the Drukhari. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. I call them Dark Elder because that's what they were called originally before Games Workshop had that lawsuit. So
I didn't know they changed the name.
So basically, I'm probably going to misremember this because I read about a long time ago, several years ago, about 10 years, 15 years ago, so that there was another company who were basically making parts that were compatible with Games Workshop bits.
Yeah.
In themselves, that's not really a big deal. They're obviously not happy about it because they want people to buy from them, but it's not a big deal. But this company started using names like Space Marine, Elder, Dark Elder. So, and again, I might be misremembering, I've got this slightly out of order. So Games Workshop basically sued them saying you can't use those names because they were saying compatible with such and such and such and such. They basically said you can't use those names, you can't brand yourself those names. Got to court and they basically got ruled that their names were too generic. Space Marine is a very generic term. You know, lots of things have Space Marines in them. Games, they said they couldn't copyright trademark in it. Elder was too generic. Lots of these terms were basically too generic. So as a result, Games Workshop basically renamed a lot of their stuff. Imperial Guard, again, two very generic words. So that's why a lot of stuff you got on the website now has all been renamed. So Imperial Guard now the Aston Militorium, and Space Marines are now Aptus Astartes, and Elder became the Arions, and Dark Elder became the Drukhari.
Okay.
And that's the story behind Games Works, why they've all got funny names now.
I had no idea, mate. I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
because everyone I still speak to still calls them by what they were known
as. Yeah, everybody does. If you go into a Games Workshop, say, where the Dark Elder models, they'll point to these, because that's what everybody calls them. Everybody still calls the Astartes Space Marines. They still call them those names and stuff. It's so, and obviously, I mean, a lot of that's because a lot of the games are old enough; they just remember the old names and keep using them. And then what happens is the younger, I think, things like Space Marines, because it's a very descriptive name, and you know, Space Marines, you know what you're getting, so it tends to that name stuck. But Elder and Dark Elder definitely don't see it mentioned so much amongst the newer people coming in because that's not the name it's used, and it's because it's not quite so well known. It's sort of that sort of name is sort of dropping off. So eventually disappear, I'd imagine. But
so do they still use those names in the new games that are coming out though?
It depends. I think the new games now use correct names, although I know because you can have a game called Space Marines about the Adeptus Astartes, couldn't you? Yeah. So you get away with that. But I think the terminology they use in the games now, they use more the moderner names, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say that would really throw me off because there was that there were a couple of new Warhammer games coming out, aren't there? The one that's like Vermintide, which is like base Warhammer. You've now got the 40k. Was it Darktide?
Darktide's the 40k one. Vermintide's Warhammer previous before Age of Sigma Warhammer.
Like that would really throw me off if I launched those games. I'd be like, who the fuck are they?
Yeah, they
or
are.
Who are you talking about? I've had that with games in the past where all of a sudden, like, I don't know, character names will change. And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. You still sort of see it mentioned in the books. They'll still occasionally say, they'll mention by the new name, they'll say also known as such.
Okay, I was going to say, so they didn't do a Control F replace all.
Yeah, they still... They use the proper names correctly, but occasionally you'll see they'll mention like, oh, these guys were also known as the Dark Elder at one point. This is their proper. So they got around by saying, well, Dark Elder and Elder were the imperial names for the races.
Oh, right. But okay.
The actual name was something else because obviously just that what we would call it's like if you go to another country, they don't call English people English. They have their own word for it.
Yeah.
So and like Spania instead of Spain. So they have. So that's how they sort of like got around it. So that explains why a lot of like the miniatures have names. So, for example, Tau, their stuff is called things like Hammerhead, Devilfish. That's because that's the imperial names of them. what they classify them as, not what the town would call them.
Fair that. All right.
But that's how I get around it.
Clever little workaround, I guess.
Yeah, clever little workaround. But yeah, I've got a core unit. I've got some cool stuff. I won't go for in depth, but it's quite cool.
I was going to say, Christ, mate, though, what the fuck are you planning on doing? You can't play with anyone because we're in lockdown.
Eventually, we'll be out of lockdown, and I might have the army painted.
You hope? What happens when fucking, what the hell happens when Kibola turns up?
Well, Kibola, is that Ebola crossed with Kibble?
Why not? Fucking Ebola 19.
Yeah. It should be Ebola 2021 by now.
Wow.
I don't know. I'll just sort of like, at least, look, all the stage doctors is that someone person said, can you just, before I go, I just got 2 minutes to finish. Can you just bring him here so at least I can die knowing that my army's all painted?
Just imagine that at your funeral. The one thing we know he would have hated, and there'll just be these 2 miniatures on your coffin.
Yeah, they'll be buried with me. Every miniature I've never had painted gets buried with me, which there's no space in the coffin for me at that point.
You got a separate coffin for unpainted miniatures. You've gone and got a family tomb, but it's not really a tomb for your family. It's you and your miniatures.
That's going to really confuse the historians in 500 years' time when they open that tomb up. It's like, what the hell is all this? Was he like some sort of king? Is this like representing all of the actual army? Did
he shrink down his subjects?
Yeah, we thought they were quite primitive back then in the early 21st century. But they had like floating tanks and stuff. What happened? We know the end. We know that the end times came in 2021. But what happened? But yeah, so that was my little spending spurge. But they're not. I've still got a load of models to paint. So these aren't getting touched until I've painted my backlog. So they're gonna sit there just calling for me.
I'm waiting to see more shelves just turn up in the background. Like in the next episode, there'll be another like 3 or 4 shelves.
I've thought about it. I won't lie. I've thought about what we're going to do because I'm soon going to run out of shelf space to put on orders.
The shelves are going to keep coming forwards till eventually you've got a backdrop. It's just right behind you. Like you can move back a couple of inches and there are just shelves of more Warhammer models.
You know how they have the big record libraries? They have those like shelves on like trolleys. They can move them back so they can sort of squish them along so you get more shelves. Then I'm going to have that all set up behind there. So I shall play with the Space Marine Army today. Beep.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Or I need to get another log cabin and set up like one of those robotic systems that go pick it all for me.
Mate, why don't you just go and buy an Amazon warehouse?
That might be the backup plan.
Because at this rate, you're going to need one.
I'm by far not the worst world plan, I can show you. I was so close to being fully caught up. I was caught during COVID. I was fully caught up because I couldn't buy any more models because everywhere shut down. And I literally paid my last. I was like, I'm all caught up. I'm finished now. Oh,
not anymore.
Not anymore. No problem now. This is the other reports because I thought there's a lockdown coming. I wanted to get everything in I could before it all shut down again. So hence my little pile.
It's not real.
I'm
afraid it is for the government to control us and stuff, apparently.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to getting my microchip installed in a few months' time.
Yeah.
When I go have the vaccine.
Mate, I'm still crying, laughing. All these people QQing like, oh, the vaccine, the government doing stuff to us. Like, you're carrying around a fucking smartphone, you muppet.
Oh, yeah, it's like people going about WhatsApp, because WhatsApp are going to start showing data of Facebook. And people start messaging me saying, oh, we need to switch to a new messaging app. But I just replied back and said, you have a Facebook account, you have a Twitter account, you have an Instagram account. You carry a smartphone wherever you go. Why the fuck are you worried? They've already got your data.
Yep.
It's this, people have this weird idea that WhatsApp care about you specifically. They don't. What they are interested in is they go, right, this person, we score them out of 1,000 different variables. This person who scores out these variables is faced with this person here who's got these variables, and they buy these products. Well, let's advertise those points to this person. There's a good chance they're going to correlate.
It's kind of like when we used to have those reward cards at supermarkets, and you'd buy things, and then they'd give you points based on what you bought, and then you'd get vouchers through the post later on for things that you liked to buy. They're just scraping metadata. Well, that's what these services are doing. They're just figuring out what it is you look at, what it is you might be interested in, and then tailoring shit to you. Just going to the WhatsApp thing. I am one of the tinfoil hat motherfuckers that uses other services other than WhatsApp. I do have a WhatsApp account now. Over the last few months, I've come back to Facebook. I have a WhatsApp account. I've used it for work. And I like open source projects too. So, WhatsApp isn't open source. But here's the trick. You're all running away from WhatsApp, but you're more than happy to have, as Ram said, Facebook, Google, Instagram, Twitter. You carry around a smartphone that isn't de-Googled or whatever. It's not a Linux phone or whatever like that. Plus, please understand that even if you don't have a smartphone, you can be tracked with a regular phone by triangulating your position using cell towers.
Yeah.
That's how phones used to use maps before they had GPS built into them.
Yeah.
So,
it's not as accurate. Admittedly, it's not as accurate.
It isn't, but I mean, you can figure out roughly where someone's at based on 3-4 towers and the signal strength. They're like, well, how does that work? Literally, as I just said, it's all based on signal strength.
Look. Go back to look at triangulation. The Nazis figured this out in the 1940s to find resistance fighters. So if they can do it in the 1940s with their technology, we can do it in smartphones.
Thank you. So, but apparently, people these days don't get it. They don't get it. And as you say, Ram, they're not actually specifically trying to target you. Because, I mean, even WhatsApp, all they're doing is scraping metadata. I don't think they can realistically access your messages based on everything still being encrypted. But they can tell, did you send a picture? How many times are you logging on? Where are you logging in from? What device are you using? That kind of stuff. And even that kind of information can be very valuable. It's pretty useful for targeting ads. They can still say, where did you go after you used WhatsApp? Because then they can use all the like button tracking and all that kind of stuff to figure out what it is you're doing, where you're going, what you're looking at, and that kind of stuff. It's not that big of a deal. If you want to stop all that stuff, you can leave WhatsApp and go to another service. But realistically, you're going to have to run stuff like NoScript, Ghostry. Half of the internet isn't going to work because it runs on JavaScript anyway. You
can't do half-hearted. You've got to go full in, take yourself off the internet.
And it only takes one thing to fuck up the whole lot.
Yeah.
Forgetting to log out of account or log into an account behind a VPN. It takes one thing to ruin all that hard work. It takes one person to piss in the pool and ruin all your hard work. Or you don't like having all your information on Facebook. Who's to say one of your mates doesn't put your phone number on Facebook? They upload all their contacts.
Exactly. You can't control what other people put out there either. If someone just posts something as innocent as, "Hey, are you going to buy the new yeast game today, Skazz?" on Facebook? That's information I'll pick up. They'll pick that up, and then I think, well, perhaps he wants to use it. We better start advertising that to him
for sure.
And
I'd like to know, actually, just quickly, I'd like to know why Facebook and Wish.com keep offering me women's underwear. I'm not complaining.
I know. It's been a very lonely few months.
I know.
You have got a wife.
Mate,
you don't.
Maybe that's it. I didn't really think of it that way, but I'm like, because they don't offer inky, I don't know, boxer shorts. But it's like,
For the longest time, I was being advertised about 4 or 5 months. Pretty much every advert. I mean, any website had an advert on it, which I still didn't have blocked. Every banner, every side banner, every little square inlay one, every was the exact same advert. It was for, and it was in, and here's it was in Danish, and it was for a robotic milking machine.
Mate, that's fantastic.
I do not know why I signed up to. At some point, the only thing I think they got me on is I bought some tickets for a livestock event where these people were showing at, and somehow through the algorithm it decided this guy must have 1,000 cows he needs to be milked. So
we all know that's not for your cows, that's for you. That's going to be an uncomfortable time because those have hard limits, don't they, before they stop? But damn, son.
There's a joke about this farmer buys a milking machine and for his cows. He's never had one before, so he decides to see how it works. So he thinks, well, I don't want to do this. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach it to myself and try it out first. So he plugs it in. It's amazing. It's strong. It sucks. And and before long he's given that all he can. But it won't disconnect. It just keeps going and going and going. He starts to panic. And he manages to sort of like just see there's like a support number on the side. And he rings up the number and says, "Oh, mate, I've got an issue. I can't get this thing disconnected from a cow's udder." And I said, "Oh, don't worry. It disconnects automatically after it extracts 2 gallons."
Good luck, mate.
I'm hoping. Oh dear, I've killed him.
Oh, that's fantastic. I just have this vision of you're just like laid there in your shack now for the next 2 months.
Laid there? I've got on all fours, mate. You've got to do the orientation correctly.
No, that's seriously, mate. They probably thought you were going to some kind of bondage event. And that's what they're looking at, mate.
Probably. Well, now I've bought Dark Elder are basically the bondage army. Now I've got those. They probably will start sending me that sort of stuff.
Mate, I can't wait to see the ad recommendations for you now.
Yeah, they're so disturbed, I would imagine now. Yeah, so anyway, back to what I was saying. So basically, when you're being when people say, "Oh, they're going to use my data to target me," no, they're targeting a profile.
Yeah, they're not basically filling in.
They're not
like a checklist.
Not targeting Joe Bloggs. They're targeting this person has this type of profile. These type of people, that profile buys X, Y, Z. Will advertise this. If you're the person who always goes on websites and sport betting websites and bets on a certain football team, that's the profile. It goes, well, this person always bets on these certain football teams. Other people who have the same profile also use this service.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. That's what you need to worry about. And I think people get so scared. They've been so people should think about what they're putting online, and they should think about what they're using, what they're giving out. But at the same time, it's not actually that scary a thing.
No.
It's adverts.
I'll admit I don't like it. But
no one, I think, likes it. I think
deal with it.
I think it's because it's targeted advertising. But then I would say that advertising's always been targeted, but it's just been a broader net. Mm-hmm. So the sort of adverts you're going to get in, say, the Daily Mail are not the sort of adverts you're going to get in the Telegraph. The sort of adverts you get played on, but
it's a different demographic that picks up each one, so...
Exactly. But you're being profiled.
Exactly.
People in the Daily Telegraph who read Daily Mail are probably going to buy this product, therefore we should advertise to those people.
Yeah.
You're being profiled, but it's an indirect profiling. It's a broadening of the net, but it is being a profiling of sort, but you're almost profiling yourself.
Yeah.
So this is nothing new. It's just more targeted. When it gets to the stage where they are actually, and even then, you don't see many adverts which actually tells you by name, but even that's just picking up some random data.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm not worried. I was like, I'm not going to faff around and change everything to know. I'm just going to stick with WhatsApp. I'm not worried.
For sure. I've used Signal since it pretty much came out. Yeah. And I absolutely love it. I will say there are some things about it I don't like that I do prefer WhatsApp for. But realistically, it's the same service. They're using the exact same encryption from what I understand. Yeah. A lot of the back-end code is the same. WhatsApp pulled some of the stuff from Signal's code base. And the one thing I will QQ about is fucking smart speakers. There's just something about a smart speaker recording what I say that just kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Always on microphones, they're fucking everywhere. You can't get away from them. Same with face tracking and all that kind of stuff. You cannot get away from it. You walk into a shopping centre or past certain high-level security cameras, you are being scanned and algorithms are doing magic fluff to figure out who you are, where you are, what you're looking at, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's more targeting ads and all that kind of stuff. And in some cases, it is being used, that kind of data is being used. Like, oh, hey, look, there's loads of people hanging around this kind of section of the mall. Why? Let's reorganize.
We got shown a few years ago. We got shown this bit of software. They're talking about trying to put into some of our company, and this software was very clever. Basically, you'd have these beacons in your store, and it'd listen for mobile phone signals.
Yeah,
and it would note, and also it also was linked up to your in-store Wi-Fi. So the idea was, if people weren't in your store, and all of a sudden it picked up a load of data coming from somebody in, say, looking around power tools or something, it would assume that that person probably is doing research, like looking at reviews, something like that. And it would actually, and if you were using your own in-store Wi-Fi, you'd actually look to see what sites they were going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if they went on, say, a competitor's site, looking at the same product, they were actually talking about the fact that if you were a member of staff, you could have a tablet, and they would actually ping you and say, "There's a customer down this aisle who's looking at your competitor. Go serve them."
Yeah.
That I thought was quite. I personally, that's sort of, to me, it's all getting to the invasive side, because it is actively watching what you specifically are doing.
Yeah.
And it's making people react. And you are definitely being targeted in that situation. You are, when people come to you, they are targeting you specifically because they know you're picking up data that they can use. But it was very fascinating, because it could also be used to see when it goes on more mundane things. It could also be used to see how busy you were.
Yeah.
It would use that, but which actually Google does anyway, because Google uses your basically your SIM card and it uses that ping to tell. Basically, that's if you ever go on Google Maps and it shows you like heavy traffic, how it knows is by your mobile. Everybody who's got a mobile phone with a Google account, it knows it's nearby. It goes by, well, there's a lot of people there. It must be busy traffic.
Yeah.
So, because I heard about, I think it was a French artist who basically got 1,000 smartphones, put them in a cart, just reeled it round past Google headquarters, and it was a massive traffic jam outside.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's that sort of stuff. I mean, and the thing is, a lot of people actually, that sort of stuff people make use of. Mm-hmm. When people look up and go, "Oh, it's really heavy traffic, it won't go that way," that's only possible because everybody else is sharing data.
Yeah. But people don't think like that.
People just hear, "Oh, my data, oh no."
But the thing is, they don't really quite understand it either. They've only really recently started to freak out about all this. Yeah. And it's like, but it's been happening to you for years. Absolutely fucking years. And you're only now bothered by it?
Yeah.
Like, what is your problem? Like, there are some people out there, like, they're now freaking out. It's like, but you post everything you do on Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook knows you inside out.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
God, yeah. Google knows absolutely everything about me.
Yeah. But at the same time, Facebook actually doesn't care who you are.
Of course not.
It's not why about who you are. Exactly. This is the discount people got to get. It's not about who you are. It's about what sort of person you are.
I think the problem that a lot of people have, and I've parroted this as well in the past, is that, it's not about now that people are so much worried about. It's the future. Because once upon a time, it was a good idea to put your religion on the census. And it's not that the people you've got going now bother you. It's who might come marching in later.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you're that bothered by it, get off the internet. I mean, Netflix is tracking what you watch. That's where all these recommended things come from. Spotify, Amazon, Facebook, basically, Google, Twitter. Everything is kind of profiling what you're doing to recommend you things that they think you're interested in to keep you on their service, on their site.
Basically, you asked me, do you use an online service? Yes. Well, then you've already given away half your data.
Yeah, basically.
I do wish Amazon... There's one thing I wish Amazon would do, is I wish Amazon and its recommended products would ignore November and December.
Oh, the old Christmas stuff.
Yeah, because all I get afterwards is all the stuff I bought for Christmas. Just, we noticed that you bought such and such random products.
I think it should ignore things that you tag as gifts. If you tag them as gifts, like this package contains a gift or whatever.
Yeah.
That should be, or there should be an option to ignore things that you're buying for other people for your own tailored, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really like the idea that Spotify was keeping a list of all the music I listened to because it just seemed stupid to me. And they always tailor the tailored stuff is always wrong anyway. But then that's because I don't use the service enough. Same with like Wish.com and their targeted ads to me. They've got no fucking idea what I like because I haven't used it enough.
Yeah.
But as I said, the thing that really does get me is the voice recordings.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just creeps me out. And I get it. Like, a lot of people don't seem to understand, okay, Google, what's the Siri one to trigger Siri?
It's just Siri, I think it is.
Oh, okay. And then you've got like Amazon.
Oh, Hey Siri.
Like Alexa and OK Google and what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
Like, for the Google Home stuff and whatever it is for Bixby. That kind of stuff bugs me a little bit, but then it's the idea that they're like, well, it's only really listening to me when I say those target words. But it isn't, because it's listening for you to say those target words. Yeah. The microphone has to be active for that feature to function, for it to actually work. But by the same token, if you don't want to be recorded, don't get a smart speaker with the microphone turned on.
From what I understand, the way it works on most smartphones is like a two-stage process. There's like a little processor that's just doing that's constantly buffering and listening for the keyword. Mm-hmm. And when the keyword is spoken, that's when it wakes stuff up and then records what's in the buffer and transfers it over to the main service.
But then, how can they say about the people when they say that? I know this is probably clickbaity, headliney shite. When they're saying like Alexas have helped solve murders and things like that because they've managed to pull the Alexa data or the audio data from an Alexa. It's not like someone has screamed, "Oh my God, Alexa!" just as someone went to stab them or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I'm not. Past what you supposedly say, she who should not be named, call the police, because that's the sort of that's what you need to start doing, or record this. But I'm doing so because I've heard a lot of. I mean, I've not gone searching for these rules. I've heard a lot of anecdotes about it, but I've never anything hard and fast. I've heard stories, but I've never actually seen a news article on it. I'm sure if I Google it,
I've seen them on American news. It's mostly American news, but then no one believes American news.
No, so yeah, if it's Fox, don't believe it. So,
but I mean, like I say, for me, I don't like smart speakers. Anything that records my image without my say so, or anything that's recording my voice realistically, I'm not a huge fan of it. Plus, I don't like smart speakers. I think they're crap. But as far as smartphones and things like that, data mining, it's just the nature of the beast. You log into a website, bam, they've got your IP.
Yeah.
If an IP was a form of identification, which, by the way, it isn't, before any random lawyer decides to go, "You've downloaded something, that's you," it isn't. I'm sorry, most people have a dynamic IP address, and to shuffle your IP, just literally reset your modem.
Yeah.
So that doesn't count. But like, if it were, you would literally be tracked for when you logged onto a website, when you logged off of a website, what your connection was, who your ISP was. There would be logs to say who you spoke to if you're on a service like IRC or something like that. It's always been tracked since the dawn of time. That's just how computers work.
And let's be honest, a lot of this tracking is actually there for your benefit. So to be able to track the orders you previously placed is bloody useful. Mm-hmm. Being able to find stuff you've ordered in the past, like, I need to order one of those again. What was it again? Oh, there's the order I ordered last time. That's you. People like those features to be able to have a wish list. A lot of the tracking stuff is there to make your life easier. It's just also used by the site. Don't forget, all these people are there to make money.
Oh yeah, sure.
But again, they don't care about who you are.
No,
they don't care about. They care about your profile, not you personally.
You are a number.
You are data. You're just random bits of data, and this random bits of data likes buying. So my Amazon profile goes profiles to me, it sends me up and says, "Hey, do you want to buy these new Tassimo pods?" Because it knows I've got a Tassimo.
Yeah.
Because I've bought pods off them, I've bought the machine off them.
Or someone has a Tassimo or whatever.
Yeah, but
I think that a lot of people get a little freaked out when they say, "Oh, the data is completely anonymous," and then all of a sudden they find that some certain data points can be tied together to find you or people like you, and it's like, look, just get over it. Privacy is dead and has been for a long time. It's the way that computers are made. They've always tracked, IPs, session lengths, stuff like that. You cannot get away from them unless you go fucking super hardcore. Proxies, VPNs, and all that. And even then, it only takes one cock up, one time to pollute the pool.
Exactly. I mean, there's always that, as you said, there's always a bad and good sides to all this. I was listening to one of my science podcasts, they had a data scientist on there, and she was talking about how, I think it was Target in America, like some big sort of store that sells bits of everything. I think it's Target who does that. They sent this young girl a load of vouchers for baby care stuff, like new mother stuff. And her father found these, and he was furious at how Dave saying his daughter will step up baby care and new mother stuff, all stuff. So he goes and he storms and complains how he dares saying this to his daughter, she's not pregnant, and so forth. He went back and spoke to her afterwards, and she basically admitted that actually she was pregnant. And they just by the fact that stuff she'd been looking at and purchasing, they treat, she's probably pregnant. We better start sending vouchers for that sort of stuff. That is an example of it going wrong, but not necessarily maliciously wrong.
No.
That wasn't them deliberately trying to oust somebody. That was them trying to be helpful, but at the same time getting money.
It's the same profiling that we've had since, the Tesco, or was it like Tesco Club Card, Asda's, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just changed form. It's just easier now. Quicker now. Now I get a notification when Amazon's like, hey, you've bought loads of guitar shit. We've got a sale right now on guitar strings. Do you want some guitar strings? And that just pops up on my phone. Before, I'd have to sign up for a music store's membership thing, like Club Card for discounts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not so much of a thing now. It's been going on for ages, just we've changed the form. We've just changed the way it looks.
When we had a loyalty card, I remember them reading that, okay, we've had this all for several years. We know when people have bought real Christmas trees and when people bought artificial Christmas trees, because you can see it by the loyalty cards. All the people who bought real Christmas trees are going to get a voucher for a real Christmas tree, and the ones that are artificial are going to get a voucher for an artificial Christmas tree. And then that's not them. That is targeting those people, but it's not. Again, I keep coming back to that because I want this is a message that has to get through. It's not personal. It's you hit a profile. You bought a real Christmas tree. Odds are you going to buy another one. Have some vouchers. So, anyway, I could hit on and on about this all day.
We're sorry, we went off on a bit of a rant there. We went from people denying COVID
to I could just go on about it.
I could just throw out there again with the whole track and trace thing. People complain about the track and trace app. I haven't got it installed. I don't go anywhere. All of my orders go from the internet anyway. I only really used to leave the house for walks and work. You're carrying around a smartphone anyway.
Yeah, I have track and trace installed. That's because I deal with the general public, and so it's I see it as a worth. I was
going to say, do you not have to have it installed because you work with the general public?
No requirement to have it installed. No, no, we had nothing official required for it. I just have it installed just because most people I know people have got it installed, mostly because I deal with the general public. So it makes sense to me that if someone walked into our building who had it, that would flag it up and I'd get a warning about it. So
I mean, again, at the end of the day, you know how the technology works. You're not really all that bothered by it.
No, I'm not. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. I was like, I don't do anything dodgy online. I don't go online. I don't do anything illegal online. I don't do anything like that. I not have any desire to. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bothered because the stuff they have on me is stuff that I'm happy to share anyway.
Yeah.
This guy, we've looked at your Facebook and it looks like you like sheep. Well, yes, well done. Congratulations. You could ask me, I told you that. So I'm not too worried about the whole thing. So that's where I come down. And I just get fed up, people go, no, my data,
my freedoms, mate, my freedoms.
So,
look, like I say, I'm clinically insane, and I do the whole privacy thing. I recommend people use other services, but I also say to people, you gotta be willing to put in the work, because if not, it's a waste of time. You're gonna put so much effort in to try and stay anonymous online. Ain't gonna happen. You're just gonna end up going insane. So just think about what you're doing. Pick a service you fucking like. And even if you are doing dodgy stuff online, just, I don't know, rethink your life choices.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do anything. Don't be an idiot and do stuff illegal. Do stuff online.
I mean, as long as you are not literally breaking the law, go for it. Doesn't matter if you join BDSM forums and, and stuff like that.
That's not against the law, but
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, as long as, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if you do. It's just when you start crossing those lines, that's when you got to worry. And in fairness, given the sheer number of people that aren't bothered about their privacy, the people who are painting a huge target on their back. What are you hiding?
Yeah.
So
I know it's a bit of a lame argument. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. But so I do sort of but it is sort of true
to a degree.
It is I mean, there's a difference between opening your entire life up because you've got nothing to hide, but there's a certain degree of truthfulness in that. But it doesn't mean you should be able to just instantly. I don't think people should be able to just instantly delve straight into your privacy and find everything about you. I don't think the police should be able to just open up the back doors and see everything about you without any sort of process to get there.
Agreed.
I don't think that should be the case, but there is a certain degree of truth to nothing to hide, nothing to fear.
Mm-hmm. Until the rules change and then you get steamrolled and you get disappeared. But that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. No. So until something, unless something really drastic happened, then to be fair, I think we've got bigger problems at that stage. So, So anyway, we really should move on from this because otherwise we'll be here. Me and you could go on for another hour. I think
we could be the conspiracy theorist podcast, but
we'd be the opposite conspiracy theorist because most people say, "Oh, I wear my tinfoil hat, don't do this." We're like,
hey, I'll wear my tinfoil hat and still go, but get over it.
Yeah,
it's a thing. But Ram, mate, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Pavlov VR.
Oh, right. That's the one that you linked me to the other day?
Yeah.
But, I wanted to get it, but because I'm using a Quest, I need a USB USB-C cable. And I had the Oculus proper cable, the big old beefy one, so I'm not likely to pull my PC across the room or all of a sudden run and then fall over and knock myself out and smash everything in my room. I've lost it.
Oh no!
I've actually lost it. So I was like, no!
It's
no PC VR for me.
It's probably charging a camera somewhere.
Probably, actually. I think I gave it to Inky, and now I don't know where it is.
That was your mistake there, you see. No, I'm perfect. I was like, I sort of thought I need to sort of make my VR headset needs to pay for itself, so I thought I need to get some VR games. And Pavlov was on offer. And again, for some reason, Steam decided that I might be interested in Pavlov. I have no idea how it figured that out. I don't know what it could be looking at to get that information.
I often wonder why Steam keeps offering me anime games. I don't get where it comes from. I don't get it.
It's the dodgy anime games.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I mean, what the fuck, mate?
Why is it giving me this game? Like, the anime girls and tentacles. Why is it offering me that game?
That sounds fantastic. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah. Why is it offering me a bulk deal of all the sequels?
As I then reach over for my bottle of lotion and tissues. No.
So
why are you offering that to me?
So you have the tentacles, I have the milking machine. Is that what we're getting at this evening?
That's the one. So what we're saying is we're both completely sick in the head.
I really hope my mother never listens to this podcast.
Your mum, and there are other people who know about this thing, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. If you didn't already realise by hanging out with me and Ram for about 15 minutes that we are totally off of our rockers.
Yeah. So,
self-inflicted. Pavlov!
Yeah. Pavlov VR. It's a... So I was sort of wondering, because VR is great for shooting. That's really what it's good for, in my opinion. It lends itself to it, because, holding his hand. So Pavlov VR is a realistic, air quotes, shooter. It's sort of trying to sort of replicate sort of the Rainbow Six-esque thing, but probably slightly more towards a Call of Duty style. If I'm honest, it's all leaning that way a bit. It's not. It's definitely not as arcade as Call of Duty, but it's not as super realistic as Rainbow Six is.
Sure.
Well, that's pretty darn good. It's not a super in-depth game. It is meant to be played online with friends. Co-op matches. There's no sort of single player to it at all. The closest you can get is basically you can set up a private match and activate bots to replace other players, and that's as close you're going to get to a single player get part of the game. That's as close you're going to get. And the bot AI is not great. But it's designed to be basically a realistic shooter. It's very neatly done, I will say. It's still got the actual in-game stuff is pretty nice fit. The guns are very well done. They look the part. They're very nicely modeled. You have to properly load them. So, for example, you have to properly, drop the mag, set a new mag, cock it. If you've run out of bullets, obviously. Which obviously other games still put in, but this is all like take it to that little bit of degree that you have to properly process. And each gun works differently. Mm-hmm. So it replicates the gun work. So, for example, a light machine gun, you have to clip the mag, you have to unclip the old mag. It won't release because there's no release button on the old. The magazine won't just drop out. Mm-hmm. Hasn't got a mag drop on it. You have to actually pull it out. So you have to pull it out of your hand, fit the other one in, lift the top bit up, feed the bullets in, pull it down, and recock it. You have to do it all properly, which is quite neat.
Yeah.
It's all right. It took me a while. There have been a few cases like, how the fuck do I reload this gun? Because this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before.
Right.
I'm just sat there in VR grabbing random parts of it, thinking, does this come off? Is that the bit? Oh, that's the magazine. Right. Okay. Where's the cocking lever on this gun?
Is that where you grab it by the barrel and swing it around like a baseball bat?
Yeah. You can shoot yourself in this game as well, which is quite neat. But the first one I did, I picked up a revolver and I thought, I wonder. Bang. I just saw this massive blood spat on the wall behind me and I was dead.
That's...
But it's... Thank you. Look, let's face it, in every VR game with a gun, at some point you try and shoot yourself to see if it works.
We did in Killing Floor.
Yeah, it didn't work in Killing Floor, I don't think.
No. We couldn't even stab each other.
No.
You tried.
You'll like this. This game has got one-use only knives in it. You get a combat knife out, you stab somebody, it disappears.
Wait.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out either.
What happened to my knife?
Yeah, it's like you stab like, where's my knife gun? So, but it's like the guns are really detailed. So the P90, so the real life P90 has a clear magazine, so you can see the bullets in it. They do that in this game as well, so you can literally glance at the magazine, see how many bullets you've got left in the gun. That's a neat little detail just to put in there.
Sorry, you said P90, and all of a sudden my brain went, "I love that gun."
you would like it in this game as well, then, because it's literally, you're like, you can literally glance down and see how many rounds you got. It's got the old, two hands to like make it more accurate. It properly enforces that. If you only got one hand on the gun, and then pull the trigger, you will just fly everywhere. But it doesn't have any notion of how close the controllers are to each other. So if you move the second controller up, hit the grab button, and put it aside, but keep hold of the grab button, as far as it's concerned, you've still got hold of that gun in two hands.
Oh wow!
And then you can just aim it like normally. But it feels wrong doing that. It doesn't feel like balance. You have to I do find myself putting both hands in order and aiming with it.
Sure.
Really, as I said, the guns are fantastic. Really, big selection of them. Proper sort of bolts. And a little detail I spotted. So it has the Arctic Magnum sniper rifle, the British L30 think it's called the L8. I think it's the L84. What I think something. I can't remember the British Army. I've got an airsoft version of it. That's got a little interesting feature of it. Is the back pin on the real gun sticks slightly out the back of the bolt. So when there's a bullet loaded, the pin sticks out. You can see you've got a bullet loaded. When it's fired, there's a bullet in the chamber. It's recessed in. You can't see it anymore. It drops back in. So it's a little quick individual indicator if you've made sure you've got a bullet loaded into the gun.
Yeah.
That works in this as well. They've actually modelled that. So when you've got a bullet in the gun, they've clearly spent a lot of time and detail getting these right. So they feel when they work right and quite fun. So I said I've been playing it because I just picked up today. I sort of play it off and on, and I went obviously just there's offline, there's online. The offline basically is a training, a kill house, and a shooting range,
right?
And that's basically
I've seen
the
shooting range.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's all your offline stuff you've got. The kill house is very straightforward. Run through and just get as high a score for as quick as you can, highest score you can. That was actually quite fun, just doing that, just running around in the field, just running around the kill house again and again and again, just seeing how high I get round, how many points I could get. And I also gave a chance to try out the various guns and sort of get used to some of the more older type guns out there. The maps are all pretty small, so it doesn't really lend itself. So guns and scopes and don't really lend themselves very well to most of the maps because they are pretty small. So if you want to play online, you haven't got a lot of choice. Though, as I said, basically there is not really a great deal of choice. You have co-op and you have PvP. So co-op, they've got like a zombie mode in it, which I didn't realize was a zombie mode until I played the game.
I didn't even realize there was a co-op mode. I just thought it was PvP only.
No, there's a co-op mode on it.
Oh, wow.
There was a co-op. Yeah, they added that an update last year. But yeah, it's a zombie survival mode. So you play co-op and then literally you just get hordes of zombies and waves of zombies come after you. I didn't realise that. I loaded into co-op mode thinking it was just going to... because it didn't say anything. I just thought, well, I'm in this game. Is it just going to be an empty room? Perhaps I'll just wander around. I was not expecting to find anybody. And then this zombie appeared and came at me. I was like, fuck! I wasn't expecting that.
Clean shorts moment.
I'm expecting someone with a gun. Not this half-naked old bloke running at me with flailing arms.
I would say that's more terrifying than anyone running at you with a gun.
I dropped my gun. I dropped my gun at that point, but these guns don't come back to your holster like most FPS of these
so
games.
You have to pick it up. You actually have to pick it
up. I didn't realize what I'd done, and I'm running away, and I'm like, where the fuck's my gun?
I just see it looks back and it's there on the floor. He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, shit. So there's me sort of sprinting to the side of the room, sort of dodging down to pick this gun up and just trying to shoot these zombies. So,
now next time that's on sale, I've got to get it.
Yeah.
just for the comedy value.
Yeah, has got. I will say the control scheme is a little bit backwards in that it doesn't work quite as you expect. So most games with the reload mechanic, at least what I've played, you grip your gun in your left hand, and you've got the trigger in your left. It's like you grip your gun in your right hand, trigger in the right hand. You can switch in this game between left and right-handed if you want.
Okay.
And then to pick a magazine up, you usually grab it with your grip button and insert it. On this game, it's the trigger button that grips the magazine to insert it.
Okay.
That really threw off my muscle memory because I kept trying to pick the grab button, and I pressing the wrong button to grab the magazine. It's like, why haven't I got a magazine in my hand? Oh, wrong button again. Pick it up, insert it, reload.
Yeah.
So after the shock of the co-op mission, I said, okay. So what I did was I launched a PvP mission, and I just basically set to private, and for the bots, I thought I'm just going to blast the bots. There's something quite fun about just running around blasting bots.
Yeah.
You know, there's no sort of like, if you fuck up and do bad, it doesn't really matter. It's just sort of for harmless fun. I used to do it all the time in deathmatch. I said it's deathmatch. You've got your usual modes. I've got there's like a search and destroy mode. There's a deathmatch, team deathmatch, King of the Hill. There's a gun game. It's got gun game in it as well, and a World War II version of gun games because they've now added a load of World War II weapons into it as well.
I did see there had been an update for World War II stuff.
Yeah, World War II stuff's quite fun. So, yeah, and as you'd expect, you can pick a map, load it in. There isn't a lot of options with the server, at least not on that screen where you create it. You basically pick a map, pick what type of game it's going to be, pick whether the team's randomized or whether people can select teams, and then you pick if it's a private game, if you allow friends, and if you have bots, and that's it. That's all the range of options. There's no option to pick like how long the round's going to last. You can't set to a pre-defined kill limit. There's no options like that at all. It's very basic in that regards. As it is, it's simply whoever has the highest number of kills wins in a time frame. I don't know. It feels like about 5 minutes.
All right.
Feels like. So, maps load up. Maps there's a fair amount of variety. Some of the maps are clearly based on Counter-Strike. There's one called Sands, which is clearly DE Dust.
Mm-hmm.
Right down to the A and B signage. And there's another one which is clearly based on CS Italy. So there's clearly they're not copies, but they're spiritually descended from. So the base maps you've got like a bridge, which is big, long, open, expansive bridge, and you spawn either. So that's what designed for team games because you spawn either end.
Yeah.
You've got one that's like, say, it's set amongst a lot of shipping containers, which is quite fun because it's got like a nice inside bit and outside bit. You've got one set, before mentioned Sands. You've got one that's set in a data center, which is like again quite compact, which is quite neat. There's nothing quite like shooting bots between a bunch of servers. You've got one that's set in Siberia, like a gulag type place, and I can't remember the others off the top of my head. So you've got the aforementioned Dust, you've got the aforementioned Italy one, and that's all I come off the top of my head. But they're all very, very. Oh, there's a Stalingrad. That's quite fun. Actually, I will give someone a shout out because they've really made this. It feels really like an actual war-torn place, and it's really open.
Yeah.
So it really favours snipers, given that most weapons you got are not very good up close, at long range. It really, when you do get a long range. So the way their deathmatch works is you get randomly spawned in with a weapon, and it's randomised.
Yeah.
So you could start deathmatch with a pistol, or you could start with a light machine gun, or you could be in like a really tight match and get given about like 50, and that's an interesting experience. As the time I got spawned, like, oh shit, I've got this heavy duty like sniper rifle. Just find another bot, shoot them, and immediately drop and pick up their weapon.
Yeah.
If you're really lucky, you get spawned with the light machine gun, because that's basically just overkill at that point. Just you've got the rounds, you just throw what you need at people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's randomly spawned in, and I said I decided to play against bots because I hate people. And the bot AI is pretty bad. Sometimes it feels the bot basically, the AI bots, they don't really take cover or anything. They basically just run and shoot at you, but they have a nice habit of forgetting you're there. So a bot will shoot at you and then just walk past you like you're not there anymore, and it's forgotten you exist. And you'll often come across, I notice it seems like when they kill you, they just like, oh, I've done my job now, I'm just going to stand here. Because several times if I got killed by one, I'd respawn, go to where I was, I'd just be standing there, just looking to the distance, and I could just shoot it. So the bet IA is pretty poor. However, there's enough of them that sort of counter it, because it's still that little bit of there's enough fun. Sometimes it's fun just mulling through loads of really shitty enemies. Some of it's fun when you're getting like 5 or 6 kills every time, and then eventually manage to whittle you down. That's something that's quite fun, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah. So I played for each of the maps today, just to give them all a go. I will say that's a little buggy. I'd say the game didn't crash, but I got kicked out of the game. Basically, several times I'd start the server or create the server, then launch it, and the game would hang, and then it'd say you've been disconnected. And it wouldn't disconnect me once I was in. It'd be like, as it's trying to launch it, it'd disconnect me. That happened about 3 or 4 times, which, when you've only got about sort of a dozen maps to go through, isn't a great situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite bad in that regard. But other than that, it's actually been a really fun experience. I really want to play it. I really want to just. We need to convince Saber to get himself a VR headset. And
I could sense that one coming.
yeah, and you need to find your cable because I really want to just. I think we'll have great fun doing a team deathmatch, like us 3v, all the bots, and just go up against it. Or we might even brave playing against other players, and we can just go up against it and just. I think that'd be hilariously fun.
I was gonna say, playing against other players, I've heard the player base in that game are pretty aggressive.
I can believe it, and I think if I play against other players, I'd be absolutely trounced because I am not very fast. I don't like the sprint functionality is push down the left analog stick and push forward.
Yeah,
I hate that because it's so easy just to let a little bit of pressure off, and you're no longer sprinting.
yeah.
Give me a sprint button. I don't like that, and I'm just not. And it's a game. It's the first game I played that I don't know if it runs on it if you need a cable to run it on Quest or if it will just run on Quest by itself.
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the games where you really notice you've got a cable attached because you can't spin and turn quite that quickly, and you need to sort of be able to a bit when it's you're up against fast-paced. When you're playing against a game, the reason I say it's close to Call of Duty and Smurfs is that it's not one-shot kill. It's if you get a headshot, you're dead, but you can absorb quite a few rounds from a assault rifle before you're on the ground dead. So it's not quite that harsh. Certain weapons. When I shoot somebody with a heavy sniper rifle, they don't die immediately. In my mind, that's not the odds of you surviving a shot from a 50 caliber sniper rifle.
Yeah.
When I can shoot someone 6 times with a Desert Eagle, they don't die. That's saying to me that's not what that sort of quite level of realism. But I would love for us to get together and have a game. Or if you find your cable, we need at least have a co-op on this game because it's one of those games that just gives them fun just to blast around with your mates and not worry too much about it. Just have a little blast around, have a little bit of fun. And
sounds like a plan, man. What I'll do is I'll launch the Quest store later and see if there is a Quest version, and if it has a Quest version, is it cross-play?
Yeah, I was going to say make sure it's cross-play. So
and because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm playing less and less PC VR.
Yeah.
In fact, I've barely touched PC VR since I got a Quest, just because I don't like that cable. I fucking hate having a cable hanging off my head. I can tell it's there. It's easy to trip the fuck over. And it's just not... It ruins the experience. It breaks my immersion somewhat.
Yeah.
I would much rather play a lower quality, graphically, game where I'm completely untethered and can run around and, do whatever, than have this big old long cable hanging off the back of my head and occasionally kind of find that I can't turn in a certain direction without choking myself out. Something.
You have to do the little VR dance where you have to sort of do this little spin on the spot to unravel yourself.
Yeah,
and I totally get that. That is one of the big downsides to VR, but until you get to the stage where they can transmit video fast enough that you can have your dedicated graphics card doing the heavy lifting, but it's transmitting the stuff to the VR headset.
Admittedly, you can already do that on the Quest.
But how good is it?
Most people with Quests do wireless VR.
Okay. So it might be worth trying this game then, maybe.
I have tried it before, but that's when I was playing with different hardware and my janky Wi-Fi router. When I have used wireless VR and it's worked, it's been great. But then some of the hiccups, I've had the same kind of hiccups by using a cable to my Quest.
Yeah.
Just more frequently. But I think because right now you actually have to sideload an app and run another app on your computer and do some bits and bobs to get wireless VR to work on Quest. When Facebook and Oculus implement their own method, I think wireless VR is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But,
what's the latency like?
It's not actually that bad, to be honest. It is worse than if I was wired, but not by a huge amount.
Yeah.
As long as you're running on 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, it's not actually that big of a deal. And in the grand scheme of things, the Quest, you could actually run the original Quest in wired mode using USB 2. They were adamant you needed USB 3, but it actually turns out that the only real difference between USB 2 and USB 3 was that there was a little bit more latency. And even what's his name? The Doom guy, I forgot now. Sacrilege. John Carmack.
That's yes.
Even he's gone on record as saying it ain't that bad running on USB 2. So Wi-Fi is going to be about the same. It's just literally, I reckon, jitter.
Yeah.
It's going to be your main problem.
I suspect the reason they said it really needs to be on USB 3 is probably because they just to head off the people saying, "Oh, I played it. It says it runs on USB 2, but there's a latency that I can tell. I can feel it."
Yeah, but you can feel it even. You can feel it even on USB 3.
But what I'm saying is, it's heading off that complaint, isn't it? By saying, "Oh, don't use it on the USB 2."
I suppose.
You're heading off that complaint in advance.
I think more people were happy when they found out they could use USB 2.
Yeah.
To be fair, because USB 2 cables you can get them long and cheap. The official USB 3C cable for the Quest was nearly 80 quid, I think. You can get cheaper cables for about 20 to 40 quid on Amazon. But, really, I mean, there was a long cable for the original Quest in the box that some people were using for PC VR. And Oculus took that away with the Quest 2. So, I mean, the latency weren't that bad. And I think more people were complaining about the price of the Oculus cable versus...
Is that why the Quest was 100 quid cheaper?
Fucking yeah, because the cable.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's the thing. They never sold. They never sold the Quest with the official cable, the official USB 3 cable. That was always an optional extra. So, but when you find out that the USB 2 cable in the box was kind of long enough and pretty good for PC VR, why the fuck would people buy your really expensive USB 3 cable?
Yeah. Because the official was.
Well, I've got an official USB 2 cable. Suck my dick, Oculus.
My official USB 2 as officially approved by the USB Standards Authority.
And there you go. Magic. But if I sort out wireless VR again, I'll give it a few test runs and I'll take a crack at it. I don't like playing games. I don't like playing shooters or stuff like that with a cable on the back of my head. I just fucking hate it. It's terrible.
It is no sport. I mean, luckily, because the bots are so stupid, it doesn't hinder you too much because the bots are generally so. You're not going. Whereas if you're against other players, I think you'd be like, "Oh fuck, I'm dead again," because the bloody cable got in the way. There'd be quite a lot of that. I think you'd find because, as long as you're playing against bots, it doesn't really matter because they're stupid enough that you can get away with it.
Sure.
So,
cool.
What have you been up to then, Skazz?
Oh mate, I've had a bit of a brain fart, A couple games though. One I completely forgot was coming, and one you haven't been able to buy in about 50 years.
Okay.
So, the game that I completely forgot was coming, I've already spoken about it before. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game.
Oh, aye.
So, it's a 2D pixel art side scroll, a stylized pixel art side scroll and beat 'em up. In the vein of like Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Final Fight, stuff like that, where you're this like overpowered character and you walk down the street and you beat the shit out of everything that comes at you, and they really stand very little chance to beat you. A game like that, based in the Scott Pilgrim universe, so you're,
is it based on the comic or the film?
both, because the film is based on the comic, which is actually pretty close to the graphic novel.
There's a few minor changes.
Yeah, there's a few, but not a huge amount. And I mean, at the end of the day, if I remember rightly, the film actually came out before the series was finished. And was it Edgar Wright?
Yeah.
Who was the director of Scott Pilgrim? He was already working with Brian Lee O'Malley as the books were being written. Like, before they'd got anywhere near to finishing it, he was already like, yeah, let's make a film of this. This is fucking cool. And then they made the game, which was a bit... The game wasn't bad, but the development cycle of it was a bit... There was, at one point, it didn't look like it was going to come out. Then they changed studios. Then it came out, and it was actually really fucking good. And then out of nowhere, the game disappeared. And I noticed that a lot of Scott Pilgrim stuff disappeared. I mean, like, you could still buy the film. I think you could still get the books if you looked for them. But the game just up and disappeared. And I imagine it was a licensing issue.
That's what screams, isn't it? Licensing issue.
And so I don't even think you could buy the soundtrack for the game.
Amazon had the Scott Pilgrim film on it until I think it came off Amazon in about August this year.
Oh, really? So it's gone now, is it?
Because I'm sure I watched it when it was like last chance to watch type thing. It was on. I saw on the last. I always got the last chance to watch, but on Amazon Prime, it's like, oh, that was on there. I thought, I'll watch that before it goes off.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on there. I might be misremembering that, to be fair, but I think that's where I caught it up on there.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting that, like, they now do that with Netflix as well, don't they? Like, this film's going to be on here until whatever date, whenever we were going to watch. I've gone and forgot the film now. Equalizer 2. And then the very day we went to go and watch it, it disappeared. But yeah, it looked like there was a licensing thing going on, and it just disappeared. I mean, they had card games, they had card games, board games, books, music, CD soundtracks, the film, for all this stuff, and then out of nowhere, it just kind of started to go away. The game went away. It got completely pulled from, I think this was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 back in the day, and it got just gone. If you didn't already have it, you couldn't buy it. I don't know if it was still available to re-download if you deleted it off your machine. Usually it is, but sometimes that isn't always a thing. So with your digital purchases, if you really like them, keep them. I was one of the people that still had it on PlayStation 3, so I've always been able to play it. But the annoying thing with that was that it turns out the DLC had gone too. I hadn't bought it, and the DLC was the online multiplayer. Anyway, this year, I believe, is the 10th anniversary of the game. The only reason I say that is because it actually comes up when you launch the Stadia version of, hey mate, fucking, to celebrate, this is the game is back. This is the 10-year anniversary of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. And to celebrate, we're including all of the DLC from the original release. It's like, can you really call it I mean, you can, because it's based obviously on release date to now. Like, you don't celebrate an anniversary of a war only if the war continues, kind of thing, or the start of the war. Yeah. But the game hasn't been on shelves for an entire console generation. It's not like people have just been able to buy this game for the last decade. So, can't you just say it's the triumphant re-release of, the fan favourite Scott, rather than saying, because it's the 10-year anniversary of a game that people haven't been able to buy in fucking ancient time. Anyway, they've re-released it, and it's actually pretty fucking good. Now people who wanted to play the game but couldn't, can. No more sideload naps, hacking consoles, dodgy downloads. You can buy the game. And now you can play the joy that is the side-scrolling beat-em-up Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. You can now play as Scott Pilgrim. So the original character roster was Scott Pilgrim, Stephen Stills, Kim Pine, Shit, I've gone and forgot. Oh, Ramona Flowers. How the fuck can I forget Ramona Flowers? The additional characters are Wallace Wells, Scott's roommate, and Knives Chow, Scott's original love interest in the film. And it's got the online multiplayer and all that tacked in too. Fantastic. You kind of need it in this day and age, especially with the whole Rona that doesn't exist. So you can actually play with other players. You can play 4-player local. And as I say, the groove is, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with a chiptune soundtrack with an interesting twist in that as you go through and beat the shit out of enemies, you level up. And as you beat enemies, they drop money, which you can eventually use to buy healing items, because you can walk into shops, some shops. Or you can buy character upgrades, like make Scott stronger, make his attack more powerful, make his special more powerful, unlock new moves, things like that. It's nice to see it back. It's fun. It's 12 quid on Switch and Stadia. I think it's on the Epic Game Store. I don't know if it's on Steam for about the same price. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim, it's worth it. If you like side-scrolling beat-em-ups, it's worth it. Showing its age a bit.
Well, yeah.
But it's worth it. And
so have they done anything to it at all? Have they like made any improvements to the graphics at all?
It's literally it's all pixel art. I can't remember the studio who have redone it. I don't even know if they were the original studio that did it to begin with.
It's just the game on the DLC. So it's basically what we in old days past called the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
I'll give you a Scott Pilgrim Amazon update. I just checked. It is not on Amazon Prime Video, but it is available to rent.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can still buy it.
It's not one, and you can buy it on Amazon as well.
Sure.
So you can't. So I must have watched it before it went from Amazon Prime free to the rent version, but it's still available to rent.
Sure. Because I was going to say I've actually got a digital copy on Google Play Movies, so I can just watch it on YouTube or on my phone. Or watch it on YouTube through my phone or whatever. But I like having a copy of the film. I've got it on DVD and Blu-ray and that too. I've got the soundtracks for it. I quite like the Scott Pilgrim universe. I've read the books. It's a neat little goofy series where a bloke falls in love with a girl, but one of her ex-boyfriends decides that for him to prove himself, he has to beat every single one of her evil ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Like she's property or something. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, to me, I watched it. My first thought was he's a bit of a dick.
Oh yeah, Scott is a bit of a
dick. He's like, I'm just going to start. Oh, actually, this girl, I'm all with my girlfriend. Actually, I quite fancy this other girl. I'm just going to start going around and not tell my other one.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a dick. But other than that, it's a fun film. It's a fun, silly film. It's got beautiful special effects in it.
Yep.
I watched this year. It's just fun. It's silly. It knows it's silly. It doesn't care. I mean, I still find the vegan bit the funniest bit.
Oh yeah, Todd Ingram, the bass player.
Yeah, because he's a vegan. He can levitate because he's a vegan because he's got special powers.
Yeah, that's it.
And then the vegan police turn up and take him off him.
Yeah, because it turns out that you'll have to watch to get it. But as long as you're a vegan, you get special powers and apparently become an arrogant dickhead. True to real life.
I was going to say that's fairly realistic. What are you complaining about there?
Yeah. Oh,
so
dietary choices, lame. But it is a fun film. It is a fun universe. I do recommend people check out the books. I recommend people give the game a go. It's more in the art style of the books than anything else, really. But it's nice. The soundtrack is by Anna Managuchi. I can't remember if that was actually pulled from stores, but if it was, I'm hoping that comes back too, because that was pretty good. So it's like rock with chiptune slapped in, and yeah, it's neat. It's goofy. It's fun. It's now about. Look, my kids have been asking for ages. Dad, can we play Scott Pilgrim? I'm like, That means I have to go and get the fucking PlayStation 3 out. Like, that's hard work. I have to go and get the PlayStation and hook that up so that you can play a game for a couple of hours and then you're never going to play it again. Now, I can say, kids, do you want your own copy of Scott Pilgrim? Yeah? Bugger off and go play it then.
Yeah. Fuck off and leave me to play my other game.
Yeah, let me play Scott Pilgrim on my console. Leave me alone. You know? But it's like I said, it just is nice to see it come back. I wish it hadn't have gone to start with.
Yeah, you're right. There must have been some licensing problem that caused it, because that's usually the only reason stuff disappears for any length of time is usually some licensing issue.
Licensing agreements do my nutting. I understand them, but they do my bloody nutting. Which leads me on to game the second, Legend of Korra, a game developed by Platinum Games of Bayonetta fame. One of Bard's personal favourites.
I've actually seen you play this game.
Ooh-ah. So
I was watching your stream.
So Platinum Studios basically did, people know them for Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, Wonderful 101, and then some other stuff that has just gone and slipped my mind. But basically, originally, Bayonetta is very much Devil May Cry with a chick.
Yeah.
So, hardcore running around, big combos, punching things in the face, really flamboyant, over-the-top action sequences.
Isn't the guy who runs Head Planets, wasn't he the designer on Devil
I
May
think
Cry?
he might have had something to do with it. I don't remember his exact involvement, so I'm not going to say anything there. But they're most known for Bayonetta. I love Bayonetta, although I will say that's another one that hasn't aged particularly well. Bayonetta 3's coming out soon, by the way. Woo! Platinum, after Bayonetta, they signed a deal with Nintendo to do Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U. Fantastic game. But obviously the Wii U was a flop. They also signed up to do a bunch of licensed titles. Transformers, Turtles, and The Legend of Korra. And somehow, I don't know quite how, they managed to lose the licensing for all fucking three. So they make the game, they release them, and they don't stick around very long. Because I do believe all three of them have been pulled off all digital stores.
Great.
So Platinum found themselves in a bit of a stitch.
So this is your theme this week, is games that get pulled.
Yeah, like licensing issues. I didn't realise that until I started playing Scott Pilgrim the other day. But so like Platinum almost went bankrupt, and if it wasn't for Nier Automata, they would have probably gone bust. Because I just remembered they did Nier Automata as well. Very pretty, over the top, very stylized game, much like Bayonetta.
Middlemar's favourite game. He's played that in depth.
Everyone plays that game to the end. Everyone plays all endings. They have to, right? Because otherwise,
otherwise, you might make a fool of themselves, but come on podcast and say about it.
Yeah. So it's a great game, but only played one story mode.
Yeah.
Bless. No, I'll tell you what.
Sorry, Middlemeister.
I'll tell you what. I'll give Middlemeister something here. The game was actually all right, just because I knew Nier's story, original Nier, which is getting a remake, by the way. Like, a lot of people who played Automata had no fucking idea where it came from.
Mm.
And so that kind of irked me a little bit. They didn't know any of the backstory. But whatever. And I tend to think... I can't remember the guy who makes the Nier series, Drakengard and Nier. I think his games are over the top tat. So I kind of instantly knock his games down a couple points every time he releases a new one. But if it weren't for Nier, Platinum would have been gone. Anyway, I say Platinum would have been gone. Platinum have said that if it weren't for Nier, they were in a bit of a bind. So I've been watching the Avatar series with my wife again recently. Avatar started with Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a Nickelodeon cartoon about a young boy who is... So, do you know anything about the Avatar universe, Ram?
Isn't I thought bits and pieces. I know basically they are people who are born who have the ability to manipulate the old school fundamental elements like air, earth, fire, water.
Yeah,
they can but they can control them almost, as it were, and like make them do things. And they call it bending, which is highly amusing if you're a British person watching it.
It's fantastic. I've made many a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, I apparently, when the film was out, I know people were saying that the cinema, everybody saw giggle in the cinema, and they was like, I heard your father was a bender, and stuff like that was coming
yeah. Don't forget, mate, the Avatar is the ultimate bender.
Yeah, the ultimate bender. And it's like, yeah, you should have research. I know the main guys are called Azog.
Ang, mate, Ang.
Ang. I never go with an A. And it's a double A, isn't it? It's A-A-A-N-G, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hasn't he got like an arrow on his forehead?
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically my knowledge of Avatar The Last Airbender.
Right. So, thank you for basically... Because it is right. Ram's right. So, in Avatar The Last Airbender, the character Ang is the last Airbender. Every generation, the Avatar is born into another tribe or another element. But the Avatar is able to control every element. The trick is the Fire Nation want the Avatar fucking gone because they want to dominate the world. So they wipe out. They know the Avatar is going to be in the Air Nation next. Or become part of the Air Nomads next. So they wipe them the fuck out so they can try and break the cycle. But they miss one. And he's frozen in time for 100 years.
What are the odds?
That's crazy, isn't it? The Avatar somehow survives.
Can I imagine, like, oh, for fuck's sake, we called everyone. The one we missed was the fucking one we wanted.
Rather than assuming that they'd actually killed the Avatar, they kept looking for the Avatar. Anyway, Avatar Aang he gets freed. He travels the world to save people from random life problems with the power of bending, and learns how to become... Well, learns all the different kinds of bending. And then, with the idea to be able to take on the Fire Lord at his peak and all that kind of fluff. Anyway, Legend of Korra follows. Aang dies. And the Avatar becomes a member of the Water Tribe. Aang has had children. There are a few more airbenders about, but not many of them. The world has moved on. We've gone from like kind of an ancient-y... I mean, how would you describe the world of the Avatar, Nick?
It looks like, from what I was watching of your thing, it looks like sort of like at the cusp between medieval and start of Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, so by Legend of Korra, we've gone from like medieval to kind of the Industrial Revolution. People are getting cars, and a little bit further, but we're getting cars and trains and things like that, powered by bending and magic and all that shit. You get to see all the progression that has been made since all of the nations have come together. That was the idea of the Avatar and Avatar The Last Airbender, to unify all of the people and go, look, let's stop fighting each other and share our skills and make the world a better place. Bam, Legend of Korra, make the world a better place. The game, you play as Avatar Korra, plays very much like Bayonetta, so flamboyant, big combos, dodging slows down time, counter mechanics where you have to time your dodges to reflect attacks and things like that. Really, I noticed it's a really awkward one to explain. Really simple controls, but really awkward to explain how it all works. If you've played a Platinum game before, Bayonetta, Nier, those other ones that I mentioned earlier, they pretty much play the same kind of groove. If you play Devil May Cry, it's the same kind of stick here. Run through a level. Levels are split into zones. Depending on how fast you do it, how much damage you do, how big the combos were, you get different medals, more points rewarded to unlock items. All good fun. If you like button mashing fun, good times. You can practice over and over again to get better runs, better scores, more points. Advance your combos and actually learn the mechanics so that you can just basically string people to death. But you were saying?
I'll say I know it seems quite a tough game because I noticed you died quite often when I was watching your stream.
Yeah, I was a bit of an idiot, and I actually forgot to equip half of the items in the game. So I didn't buy any items from the item shop until the last 2 levels of the game. And those are quite useful because one of them regenerates your health. Other ones will give you higher attack power, more health. And I had none of them. I didn't buy any healing items or anything like that. So I got fucked up a lot. But it was fun. It was fun. But yeah, the game, because they lost the license for it. It got pulled off Steam, and really the only way you can seemingly get it over the last few years is to buy it from a key site where someone is charging you like 150 quid for a game that I think it was only worth like somewhere between 10 and 30 quid. But I recently found a copy on the cheap, and I grabbed it because like I said, I quite like the Avatar series, and the game has its own unique story. It takes place between like the Water Tribe Civil War and fuck me, I've gone and forgot what comes next. But to get the full story of the Avatar, you have to play that game too. And I feel it's a bit of a shame that because of licensing, a lot of people aren't going to be able to play it.
No.
It is fun if you like button mash and platinum games. Graphically, it's in a cel-shaded anime style. The music follows on from the series, so that's pretty nice. And the story basically is that there is a chi blocker who can block people's bending power. There's a couple of those in the later series of Avatar Korra. But this random old bloke just turns up out of nowhere, ambushes Korra, takes away all of her bending, and all she can do is fist things. I'm going to say it's fisting things rather than fighting things because we're calling people benders.
I was going to say, you're one whole Gormand here, aren't you?
It's good times. But the idea is that you go through each level and try to get your bending back. So you start off going to the air temple and unlock your water bending. I don't know why the fuck you do that at the air temple. Then you unlock earth bending by practicing, the dodge counter mechanic. So earth bending comes in as one of the last parts of the tutorial. Then you unlock fire bending. And then air bending. And as you use your bending, they level up and become stronger. You can do bigger combos, unlock more moves. Hopefully buy extra moves from the shop if you don't forget. And just have a right old time. And if you level them up, if you go through the game again, your bending skills stay leveled up from what I understand. Or maybe the items you buy from the shop carry over. I'm not entirely sure which yet. But the game's like you can start on casual, so you can just enjoy the story. Then go on normal, and then there's like this hardcore mode, and it's neat. But like I said, I feel really sad that the license got pulled.
No, so I watched it there. It looked quite fun what you were playing the other day. So
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't really know how to explain it. Just imagine Bayonetta with an Avatar skin, and if you like Bayonetta and you like the Avatar, it's really a no-brainer to play it. But it's not worth 150 quid that people are selling it for. So I have a tip. Look for Legend of Korra on Amazon. And every now and then you will find a PC Steam key go for sale on Amazon. For £11. Ish. Usually not much more than that. If you want to be a dick, you could then buy it and sell it on a CD key site. So there you go, you've got a nice way to make some money. Or, if you want to be cool, buy the game and play it. Be a fan, buy the game, play it. Because everything else gets scalped these days. I don't know how Amazon keeps getting keys, but they do every now and then once in a blue moon.
Or be a real dick, buy it, redeem the key and refund it.
Yeah, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick, and buy the game and enjoy it. It's a fun little series, with a fun little game, kind of like Scott Pilgrim, that was unfortunately cut short because of shitty licensing agreements. I really enjoyed it. I said the other day I'm not really enjoying games that much. This game came out in 2014. It turns out, I'm not looking forward to anything coming up, but fuck me, there are some great old games that I really enjoy.
We got to the stage where we're calling a game from 2014 old.
Well, it's old because I can't buy it anymore, and it was made for a 2 generations old system now.
Making me feel old, Skazz.
Yeah. But
cool.
It was nice. It was fun. It's goofy.
Awesome. It looked quite fun when you were playing. So
I recommend it to people. I really do. It's simple, stupid fun.
I had it on the background while I was having a little clear out in the office, and had you on the background
whilst I'm swearing at the top of my lungs because I get wrecked.
Yeah, and so he's dead again.
Some of those, I'll tell you now, mate. Some of those fights, it starts off as not too bad, and I was watching Inky play it, and she was streaming it. So because I've got Steam in-home streaming set up, and I've got my library shared between me, Inky, and the kids. So Inky had to go at the game first. And when she first played it, she was getting killed quite quickly. I was like, what the fuck, man? Maybe it's just difficult because she's playing it on in-home streaming. And I ended up playing it on my PC. I was like, it ain't too bad. And then all of a sudden, you think you're doing all right. And then out of nowhere, a new enemy gets introduced and you get steamrolled. I'm like, fuck you. The difficulty curve just decides to go right up, mate. But it's fun. Play it. Get angry. Watch the Avatar. I love that series. I really do. It's neat. It's all about balance and fun and friendship and shit.
And all that good shit. And if you're British, you'll love it for the innuendos.
Yep. Well, don't watch the film. Have you watched the film?
No, I've not watched anything to do with Avatar.
Oh, okay.
All I know about Avatar is through cultural osmosis. I've just picked up, as in the same way that's all my knowledge I have on Pokemon is through cultural osmosis. Same as all Legend of Zelda. It's all for I just know from what I've seen and picked up and watched from other people.
Sure.
So that's the information on Avatar.
Yeah, I like it. It's probably one of the better Western animations in a long time.
Yeah, but is it because the guys basically did it? From what I read once, they said they basically sort of tried to actually copy anime. I heard.
A lot of people look at it and they think it's anime, but it isn't. Anime is traditionally, Japanese drawn.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they try to copy and emulate that style as much as possible, and that's why I think. Because my first assumption was, until I found it was American, my first assumption was it was an anime that had been just translated.
Yeah, a really nice dub.
Yeah. So it's only it's actually meant they just tried to emulate because actually a picture of it looks like an anime.
It looks really, really nice.
Yeah,
the show looks fantastic. Good job to the creators and Nickelodeon for producing it. It's really nice. The world is fantastic. Loads of holes in the plot, but it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It looks beautiful. Bending is based on actual martial art motions, which is kind of cool, and just the lore is nice, and just, I don't know, I like the world. I like the world that they've made, and the fact that they made, was it 3 seasons of The Last Airbender? They're going in for a 4th, to kind of bridge the gap between Aang and Korra, because people want more Aang. Korra got 4. I think it got cancelled or was due to be cancelled towards the end, so they just kind of went, finish, and rushed the end of it out. But they did 4 seasons of that, and they're all pretty solid. It looks great. For a Western production, it's really nice. It's not like your usual Nickelodeon shit. So,
well, there we go. Cool. Anything else, Skazz?
That's it, mate. That's it.
Awesome.
I just can't believe that I got I had a bit of a fizz for gaming this last couple of weeks, and it was all for games that you can't really or couldn't up until recently buy.
Yeah, that's good. Nice to see you got your fizz back.
For now.
He's back to being a digital bender.
Yeah, boy! Biggest bender you'll ever know.
Yeah.
I am the ultimate bender. I am the avatar.
So if anyone's watching up at the TheSuffolkRam, on that note, so if you can join us, our next podcast will be broadcast here live on the 30th of January at 9:30 GMT. You can check up our games nights, which is every Tuesday at 8:30 GMT on Twitch, on twitch.tv/TheSuffolkRam.
No one wants to watch my stream, Ram. It's twitch.tv/Skazz, SK4ZZI0US. Just watch Ram. Ram does amazing streams. He doesn't stream.
Every 2 weeks.
Should stream more.
Yeah.
You should stream Pavlov.
I could stream Pavlov and people can laugh at me.
Everyone encourage Ram to stream because no one wants to watch my shit.
You can also contact us on our website through at brandnerds.co.uk. You can email us at comments@brandnerds.co.uk and drop us information, random shit.
And Ram has done some redesigning of the website. It looks very pretty.
Ram had to learn CSS. And Ram basically wondered how. CSS. Oh, mate. I sat there. I was like, I don't know how. I've done something. It's worked. I'm not sure why. I sort of like. It's got somewhere, it generates a button that says read more. I have trawled through all the code of that theme, and I cannot find out where that's coming from. You'd think if you did control find read more, the text string, you would find the bit of code that generates it.
No,
I could not find it anywhere. I have no idea where that button that read more comes from, where that has magicked itself out the ether to appear. But I can't find it, so I have no idea because that button doesn't do anything. I need to switch off, but I can't work out how. So, yeah,
you've probably deleted the option to turn it off.
Well, you see, you can override CSS code on WordPress. You can override, which is what I've done. Rather than fitting the actual proper code, because there lies madness. I've just been overriding it, and then I can, if it fucks everything up, I can just delete it and changes it all. But I cannot find where the code for that button is. I don't know what it does. So if there's a button that doesn't seem to do anything, I know I can't work out how to stop it. But yeah, so I think it looks pretty though. I spent literally a whole day just rebuilding it from scratch. I'm quite pleased with it. So you can go on that. You can check us out on that. Also on the youtube.com/randnerds. You can also watch these streams on twitch.tv/randnerds. I'm very much watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in a fortnight.
Yay!
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good one. Wear a mask.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Get the vaccine.
Yeah. Get tracked.
Get the vaccine. Get microchipped by Bill Gates. And you've already given away your personal data on your mobile phone, so hey, what does it matter?
Get owned, sheeple.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is what the Americans need to do. They need to sort of do reverse psychology. They need to come out and say that, oh, you mustn't get that vaccine. You mustn't do that. We demand that you don't get the vaccine. And then all
don't
those
jump
people,
at it, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you do, not wear a mask. If you must not wear a mask. It's terrible. You really shouldn't wear a mask. They'd all be wearing it.
Yeah.
I'm exercising my Second Amendment rights to wear a mask.
Yeah, fuck you guys. You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Or what not to do.
Yeah. And I go, yep, it's worked again.
Americans, I shouldn't say this. Don't point guns at yourselves. Don't.
Yeah.
Right, and honestly, no, please don't do that.
Did you see? I think it was like Nigeria put a newspaper article, picture of the guy who's in the Pulaski's office with his feet up on the desk. It just said underneath, "Who's the Banana Republic now?" And it's like, yeah, good, well done, guys. I'm impressed. Well done. So
let's stop offending people. Fuck you guys.